Not all follow-ups are created equal. But here are some ways to make the experience more enjoyable. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 ways to make a good movie sequel.
In my home! In my bedroom where my wife sleeps!
Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at methods which, when properly employed, help enhance a movie sequel. Number 10. Continue the story. Part of the reason sequels are made in the first place is because the collected efforts of the cast and crew were enough to immerse audiences into a believable world, and the audience wanted more.
Do not come back.
Whether in front of a big screen or a campfire, it's a human impulse to want to know what happens next.
What do you mean?
I mean, what happened?
What do you mean what happened? That's the end.
How can that be the end? What kind of an ending is that?
If the film's world has been built properly, and the characters are dynamic enough, there should be lots more stories to tell, and you can hit the ground running. But if the materials run dry, best to save everyone the time and money, and leave well enough alone.
I can't look into the darkness with you anymore, Mulder. I cannot stand what it does to you or to me.
Number 9. Avoid underdeveloped new characters. It's okay to freshen things up, and new characters can be a great way to add intrigue or spice up familiar situations.
But it's human nature to fear the unusual.
However, if you're going to be throwing anything new into a sequel, it has to be for a reason, and they must truly further the story in some way.
But anyway, you got your own stuff, you got your gymnastics competition, you've been training for that for months.
When a character is added as a MacGuffin, or their random talent suddenly becomes useful, or their obliviously comic relief, it stinks to high heaven.
Wow, holy smoke! Crash landing!
It's an insult to the audience that's followed along with the story so far, and more often than not, it cheapens the movie rather than invigorating it.
Haha, very funny!
Number 8. Take risks. Just because you got everybody back to the theater doesn't mean you can rest on your laurels. Any follow-up needs to keep challenging as well as exciting the viewer, which means taking some risks. And no, that doesn't just mean faster scene cuts and bigger explosions. Familiar characters with ulterior motives, improved effects, and pursuing a deeper message are all ways to up the ante.
Lucky?
If poorly executed, yeah, they can be gimmicky. However, when done right, gutsy plot twists can create some of the most memorable and iconic movie moments ever.
No. I am your father.
Number 7. Don't overdo it. Risks and escalating plot points are great, but it is possible to go too far.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art. Flawless. Sublime.
There's a fine line between increased action and gratuitous overkill.
That's a nice trick.
Too many new ideas will bog a story down. Too many or overlong fight sequences lose all their urgency and leave viewers disengaged. As soon as a viewer feels aware that they're watching a movie, well, it's all over. Pacing is hard enough in any first installment, but it takes a skilled writer, director, and editor to navigate the rocky waters of a good sequel.
Oh, Rosie, I love this boy.
You gotta raise the stakes, but not too high.
Very well.
Number 6. Don't make us wait forever.
It's not about the money.
Granted, Rome wasn't built in a day, but if the future Romans had known what was in store for them, don't you think they would have wanted it in a timely fashion?
How much is enough?
Is there anything worse than investing in a film, finding out that there will be a sequel, and then having to wait years and years? Avatar?
You see? I mean, they're just pissing on us without even the courtesy of calling it rain.
Equally confusing, however, is when we get a sequel that was never really asked for, years after the first one concluded. Sometimes this can add new layers to a story, but mostly it comes across as a hackneyed attempt to score points off a famous brand.
I just moved back here after being many years away, and I forgot to bring any cutlery.
Number 5. Bring back the original cast and characters.
Wait! I'll be back in just a second.
Way to go, cowboy.
Unless you're creating an anthology of films set in a particular and engaging world, it's crucial to bring back the same characters and cast if you can manage it.
As it turns out, I have this affinity for beachfront property.
Audiences not only buy into a story or setting, but largely into characters as well.
Dr. Lecter, my name is Clarice Starling. May I speak with you?
It can be jarring going into a sequel with fond memories of one familiar face, only to have to get used to a new one.
Officer Bolton, I'm Special Agent Starling. And just so we don't get off on the wrong foot, let me explain why we're all here.
Sometimes, when it's a swap out for a minor character that suddenly has a meteor role the first actor might not have been up for, it works.
You can't ask me to wait for that.
It's happening now.
Other times it's unavoidable, due to death or illness. But barring that, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
Number 4, raise the stakes.
I'm surprised you haven't heard about me. You know, I got a bad reputation. I mean, sometimes I just go nuts like now.
This is critical if the sequel is going to stand out, and is even more important if the original had a satisfactory conclusion. You gotta give the audience something bigger and more urgent, making them believe that a second installment is what they wanted, even if they didn't know it. But raised stakes don't just mean more butts for kicking. Maybe the events of the last movie affected the character's emotional stability. Or the scope and breadth of a problem is now to be more deeply examined. Doesn't matter what the bar is, it just needs raising. Number 3, make sure it's faithful to the feel of the original.
Well, hello, beautiful.
Sometimes a director has a great vision, and they know just where to carry it.
General, would you care to step outside?
Superman! But one of the biggest problems facing sequels is that a new team often takes them on. Essentially fanboys and fangirls with the tools available to make their version of what happened next come to life.
And they're never heard from again.
When a new director helms a budding franchise, they need to faithfully deliver on a beloved world, while also taking the right liberties to make it their own.
They found a way in, something we missed.
If they get it right, everyone wins. If they don't, you get a mess.
Dude, spare us the bullshit. Please. It's real, dude. It happens.
Number 2, don't just redo the same movie. We get it, the first one was popular. That's probably what got it a sequel deal in the first place. However, if audiences wanted to see the same movie again, they would just see the same movie again.
I am so sick and tired of his bullshit. On and on. Pompous prick.
The temptation is always to stay in the comfort zone, or deliver a formulaic story that is contentedly mediocre. Studios, perhaps even more than the production team, are most guilty of this.
I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart.
However, if audiences show their support for the sequels that are really going in an original direction, the studio heads will take notice. Vote with your dollar, folks, and say yes to originality.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, but I'm leaving.
Number 1, further character development. At the heart of any movie are the characters.
Well, did you at least think the characters were well developed?
What characters? There's a bunch of little kids there dressed up in the animal costumes.
They're the ones audiences root for, fall in love with, or love to hate. At the end of the day, character-driven story arcs are the lifeblood of the film industry.
That's where ideas begin. Maybe you should listen to them.
Whether they're following a redemption disgrace narrative, building integrity, or proving that they're more than just tropes in a genre, characters in any good sequel must show growth and development.
Live long and prosper.
Wooden or poorly drawn characters will quickly lose the audience's attention because, for better or worse, viewers want to see something they can relate or aspire to.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.